In today's BPEC video, Ocean waves his hands about, I try to not fall into a dustbin, and Will stares at a phone. So it's Friday testing, we got some brand new tyres on, Will's going to do a quali run. What's the target time?
8.2 I reckon.
38.2. Easy. Will, did you achieve it?
I mean, I did a couple twos.
Hey.
So I'll take that.
Assalamu alaikum, good morning everyone, and welcome to another video. We're at Clay Pigeon for round 3 and round 4 of the BPEC Championship. It's a double header, and we were here on Thursday and on Friday. It's currently Saturday, but we've been here for 2 days testing, getting ready. We currently have won the first 2 rounds back to back in the Super Pro class, and well, on Thursday I learnt what not to do in a go-kart. So get a zoom in of what I do. Whilst Thursday might have been a little bit interesting, this morning went very well. As everyone knows, there is only one way to start a race day, and that is with a breakfast of champions. So there's been some good, there's been some bad, but testing's just been kind of weird. It's not like we're super confident, but we're also kind of feeling that it's just been really weird because this track has just been evolving like crazy, changing, and at some points we felt really quick, some points it's been a little bit shaky, so we just need to wait for the race. It was super hot on Thursday and Friday, and it's quite cool now, so what do? Do we change the setup? Let's find out. Right, driver's briefing all completed. Ocean's got the radios out, gonna do a little radio check. Scream at him. Any pre-quali thoughts?
Met most of the tyres really. 20 minutes.
You mean
Maybe get a tow if we can.
Lovely clean tyres. Save the tyres for the race start?
No, that's not my plan.
There's a cut, you can cut through the circuit there, gain about 10 seconds. No one will see it.
Yeah, I think that might stand out a bit.
So qualifying has now started, and as you can see, the track is empty. So no one's going to go out for a couple of minutes anyway. No one needs a full half an hour. You tend to see the top guys going out about 22 minutes left or something. So we're just sitting here, we're just chilling. We'll go out in about 5-10 minutes. Hey, Titan are the first ones out. Is there going to be a mad flood? No. So everyone's ploughed out with just under 20 minutes to go, so 20-minute qualifying session effectively instead of 30. I think the aim is if we can get 38.1, 38.0, that'll be really, really good. So Willis has gone up to P5, so he's just put in a 38.6, but we're still waiting for the tyres to get up to temp. It's Titans who are on pole at the moment, they're absolutely rapid here, but again, we're not too worried, still 15 minutes left in the session. As qualifying got underway, Will managed to get to the front of the train and was putting in some decent laps. Unfortunately though, we really needed a tow, so Will backed off and let a couple of drivers through. The pace was improving, but the field was incredibly tight. Right, you got one final lap. As we entered the final lap of qualifying, we were still searching for another half attempt. P9 at the end of qualifying, not the worst, not the best, second in class, but we're in the top 10, we've got the inside. So pole was a 2.06, and if we go all the way down, and we go down to like 19th, 20th, there's 2 tenths between like 20 cars, 3 tenths between 20 cars. That is ridiculous. So tight. With qualifying over, it was time to take the kart to the circuit for race 1. With Will in the kart, I now had to get our trolley off circuit and restrain my intrusive thoughts of kicking other people's go-karts. The rolling start got underway with Will starting in 9th place, and I had a great view from the balcony to see exactly how this opening lap would pan out. We ended up losing a position on the first lap. However, the main thing was that we got through the lap without any drama, so Will could now get his head down and try to stick with the leading train. Just a few laps in and there was a kerfuffle coming out of the hairpin. Will jumped right in and pulled us back to 9th. What was even better is that we were now right behind our championship rivals of the number 10 kart. Unfortunately for us though, the number 10 kart was rapid and was starting to break clear and had eventually pulled out a bit of a gap.
Well, Will's just caught up to the back of the number 7. We've got a big gap behind us as well of about a second, so let's see if he can actually overtake and move up into 7th place.
Will was able to pass the number 7 kart, but once again he now had a huge gap in front of him to try to chip away at.
We're pretty much an hour into the race and I've got myself a lunch and some snacks.
It looks like a few people are starting to drop off the pace, but they're dropping off the pace quicker than others, so it looks like our pace isn't dropping off too much, so that might be a good sign for, you know, the race as a whole. But yeah, we're still about 7 seconds behind the leaders at this point.
1 hour 10 minutes into the race now, and we're nearing our pit stop. So Ocean's getting ready, and need to make sure this is a really slick pit stop. We've had massive drama in the pit stop. The pit stop itself was absolutely fantastic, but the fuel cap had an issue, and the fuel cap wouldn't seal. And when Ocean went out, he couldn't actually seal it, so he just had pet flowing out of the cart and onto him. So he had to pit. Will had to go back up, but obviously he wasn't ready because Will had just come into the pit, taken off his helmet and didn't know. So Ocean came back in. We ended up losing 2 minutes, and it happened too early, so we can't even try to cut a stop out of our strategy. So we've just lost 2 minutes, but yeah, it is what it is. Nothing we can do about it. It just happens. So yeah, so now it's just damage limitation. Try to get some points, but this is probably going to be our top round.
Okay, so I thought I'd show you guys what happened to our fuel cap. Actually, no, I'm not going to show you guys what happened to my fuel cap, because if any other BPEC teams are listening and watching this, you can have the same issue and be confused as well. Have fun!
Will has worked his way back up to 19, putting in really good pace and sat right behind Aaron Alexander. Ocean's found a new suit, so he's about to go out. We have to cut this stint a bit short because we lost so much fuel. So yeah, need to make sure we get this right and hopefully, you know, put the fuel cap back on properly.
Despite all the drama, Ocean was hustling and putting in some really quick laps. The race was starting to look a bit better, and we were looking at a comfortable top 20 finish.
So we've just passed the 3 hour mark of the race. Ocean has pulled us back up to 15th overall, so done a really good job. Unfortunately, we're still last in the Super Pro class, which is what matters. 30 seconds behind the 125 who's ahead of us in the Super Pro class and our teammates. And we're just over a lap behind the 16. So I've got, essentially, when I go out in about 20 minutes time, I'll have 2.5 hours to catch a lap and a bit, which will pull us to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th in class. And if we can get 5th in class, considering what's happened, that is a huge, huge win. That's the aim, P13 overall. So yeah, time to put in my 2 big stints of the year.
Well, that was shockingly bad. Well, at least I got to train my neck a bit, but I was just absolutely fuming throughout the entire 2 stints. I just couldn't find pace at the start, and when the 43 got past me, I just started sliding around like crazy. Like I was on oil, or I had a puncture, or there was an issue with the engine, and I must have lost losing like over half a second a lap, like nearly a second, and it happened for 2 laps, and I was just like all over the place through corners. And I thought, there's something wrong. I'll come in the pits, nothing wrong with the car at all, and I was just like, okay, go back out, fine. Then I came back out right in front of the 43. 43 gets past me, same thing happens again immediately, and I'm like, what? But then it kind of cleared itself up, and then there was like a huge amount of rattling sound coming from the back, from the right rear. Sounded like something's loose. We brought the kart in at the end of the race, can't hear anything. And to top it all off, apparently the Alfana's been playing up, so I'm looking at my lap times thinking that they're really inconsistent, I'm losing time, and it turns out that the Alfana was wrong and I was actually fairly consistent. So I think everything's just trying to make me go crazy today. So I've got 2 options. One is forget all about today and just come into tomorrow as if it's a new day, or 2, I actually try to figure out what's going wrong and possibly make myself go more crazy trying to figure this out. But it's just, yeah, definitely the drop score round, and gonna pray Asr and grab a pizza later and just try to mentally reset and come back in tomorrow stronger. I mean, on the plus side, at the end of the race, I was sticking to corner jump in the 7, so there's definitely pace there, but the kart just did not handle right. And it was consistently not, everything was wrong with it. There was no bottom end, there was no front turn in, it was pushing wide, the rear end was, everything was wrong. And a little bit frustrating, so very frustrating. So yeah, need to sort things out and figure out what we're doing for tomorrow. We've done a little bit of digging. We took option number 2, which was to try to figure out what was wrong, probably the sensible option. And it's honestly really difficult to find anything because we can't find anything physically with the kart. The rear hub had come all the way out, so what we think happened is when I made my mistake and I went over the curb, that actually pushed the rear out because the hub wasn't super tight. It was tight, so it wouldn't move, but if you like give it a good whack, it would move. So that moved the tyre all the way out. And then when I went into the right-hander afterwards, because it leans on the left tyre, that doesn't do anything. But then the next corner is a double left and fairly fast. Then it's leaning on the right, and all of a sudden that tyre is now another some number of millimeters, can't give away our secrets, but it's now extra mil out by a fair amount. And you know, I'm not expecting that. And when the rears go out wider, what it does is it makes the rear looser, so it's a little bit more oversteery. So I go into that corner and all of a sudden it's massively more oversteery. I'm going through it like, what on earth is going on? And I think that's what made me think, oh, there's something really wrong with the kart, because it was affecting me for a lap and I'm still driving it how I was driving it before, but now I've got a really loose rear and it's not working and I'm losing time. So then I came in, we didn't notice anything wrong. I go back out and then I guess I just learnt how to drive around it, and maybe I lost a bit of time per lap, or maybe it was okay, but I think that's where the time went. That's kind of the issue that was happening. There were still some other issues, we think, but we have some ideas, so maybe we'll make some changes and hopefully tomorrow we'll come back a bit stronger. But you're looking at the times, I was about 0.3 a lap off the pace, and if that rear coming out did happen then, that would probably explain a 1/10 a lap, hopefully. And then if I take that 1/10 a lap off and kind of consider that's where I would have been, then I think the pace was actually fairly good. I think I just need the kart to be back in a place where I enjoy it and I'm able to drive it consistently, because today I just did not feel comfortable in it. So yeah, that's the plan. Try to sort things out, go to sleep, get a good night rest. Hopefully my neck sorts itself out and come back stronger and back to winning ways, inshallah. It is Sunday morning. We are well rested. We've had another breakfast of champions. Time to put right the wrongs of yesterday. And yeah, inshallah nothing goes wrong. Going to make some setup changes, figured out what we wanted to do overnight, hopefully a little bit quicker than yesterday. Where's Will go? He's our qualifying driver. Where is Ocean going? We've got qualifying about to start. Get back here. I guess I'm going to have to drive the car. You can put Will's helmet on, be golden. What are the predictions?
Solid top 10 and then forward through consistency in the race.
Adam Natha told me to tell you yesterday that you're washed.
Okay.
He said,
well,
you know what it means.
I didn't see him.
Yeah.
You know what? He was nowhere near me in super final. So
yeah.
I mean, we started next to each other, and then he disappeared. He disappeared out the back. So
I mean,
if I'm washed, he's washed, rinsed, and dry cleaned. Club 100 merchant, and he can't beat a man named after a body of water. Embarrassing, man.
Oh, look at that. We're currently P2. However, we're still waiting for Apollo and stuff to put in that time. There comes some other quick laps. So, yeah, I need to stop the recording. We're going to drop further down at this rate. After his meteoric lap, Will backed off to find himself one of those cool toes. However, Will's pace had dropped off, and he couldn't stay in the toe to save his life. He was now more useless than a 14mm spanner and had qualified outside the top 20. But it turns out there might have been a reason for Will being shittier than a flatulent penguin's toilet. So the reason why we were so far off the pace was the sniper plate had broken. So we put a new sniper plate in, and hopefully that solves it. It's all just very dark right now in the sense of we don't really know what's going to happen. We don't know what our pace is like, but we know how quick Will was at the start of the race yesterday. So hopefully we have something similar and we can work our way up through the field, keep everything clean, consistent, and pick up a podium, because I think pace-wise we don't have the pace to challenge the 10.
It was now crunch time, and Will was ready to go harder than Max Verstappen after finding out Daniel Kvyat had broken up with his partner. Will had a good start and had gained a few places, but on the exit of the final corner he had 4 karts on his inside, which meant we lost a bunch of positions going into turn 1. But Will was cooking, and he eventually caught up to the back of the 125, our teammates in the Super Pro class. Will got past and began to hunt down the next group of drivers.
Will's just put in the fast lap of the Super Pro class, so that's a bonus point that we've gained, our first fast lap win of the season, but hopefully no one goes faster than us.
Will, however, did not rest on his laurels of fastest lap as he continued to carve his way through the field.
Will has made his way to the front of this train of karts, so he's in 16th now. Unfortunately, we've lost the fastest lap. Well, I'm sure Will can go faster.
He now had the really tricky job of trying to catch up to the group of karts ahead and was making steady progress, but it was too steady, so I gave him some encouragement.
Okay, well, the train ahead are doing 0.8 and 0.9. If you can consistent 0.8, we should catch them.
Will gained another position and now had the crazy task of having to catch the 22, with Callum Gunning at the wheel.
We're half an hour into this race, and Will is up into 15th place, but he's one of the quickest on track. He
Grinding it down.
And
Slowly through it.
every time he gets a tow, like even from a back marker, he puts in a 0.7. So when he gets a tow from a quick driver, you might see some 0.6s.
So this is 6th place, and there's Will.
So we're onto the back of this train now, pretty much. Only 4/10 down. Now it's time to start picking our way through.
Will centered up the inside of the final corner to make his first overtake, and just a lap later, he was up the inside into the hairpin for yet another position.
Right, now time to go to the back of Gunning. We're nearly an hour into the race. Still running 13th, a little bit behind the main train. So we're only 13 seconds off the lead. Will's just put in a 38.6, so he's got the pace. He just can't get past this guy. So, and as I say that, he's just overtaken him. Now that he's got through, he can put in some really quick time. He's actually got the fast lap of the race, so that's a bonus point. And I don't think anyone's going to improve on that now, hopefully, inshallah. Now he's got clean air, and now he needs to catch the main pack, and this is the main pack now.
And boy, he did catch them.
Will just pumped in a 0.7 without a toe in clean air. It's just, he's got so much pace right now. If he can consistently do even 0.8, he will catch them.
He had overtaken a couple of karts already, and now he was on the back of the reigning BPEC champions. He overtook Apollo, gapped them, and then began to hunt down Ike Needham and James de Havilland. A couple of laps later, we were ahead of the 88, and then 2 more laps later, we were up the inside of the AAA kart into the hairpin. Not only that, but we had gapped the group as well.
Let's go, Will. Will's just got through the whole train, and he's only gone, and in clean air just pumped in immediately a 38.7 again. We're catching up to Paragon and possibly DWS. So we're 7th overall, having started in 21st, and we're 4th in class, so it has been an absolutely insane stint.
As Will's stint came to a close, it was Ocean's turn to jump into the kart, and this time we made sure we didn't burn him with petrol.
Okay, they're in P6, they just pitted. Will's out, Will's been flying, that's a good stop, and Ocean's going to double the double stint.
So we absolutely never pit stop, 8th overall, 4th in class, but we're only 3 seconds behind 2nd and 3rd in class. Ocean's out now, and he's straight onto the pace. He's putting in 38.9s, matching Callum Gunning from the 22, who was out in the first in. So Callum's, dialed in, and Ocean's immediately dialed himself in. So really, really good pace.
Ocean continued to put in the big lap times, and we were slowly closing into the group ahead. Within half an hour of his stint, Ocean had reeled in 2 of the elite karts.
We are 2 hours into the race now, 4 hours remaining. Ocean is still in 8th, but we are still just 7 seconds behind the number 10, who are 2nd in the Super Pro class. So again, he's doing a really good job, putting in really good pace. We've only lost like 3 seconds to the leaders over this half of his stint.
And the other thing that we know is that the 85, the 22 and the 10 all have their strongest drivers in the karts at the moment. So when they swap those out, Ocean's going to be going out for a second stint. He'll be fully dialed in, and that's those first 10 laps when the other drivers are getting up to speed is where we might gain like a huge amount of time, like a good 5 seconds or something.
So Ocean is about to pit. We've done a fair few number of laps for him, so we're just trying to stretch out the stint as much as possible so we can make the most out of low fuel load. The fastest pit stop we've seen so far is on 1 minute 19. Our last pit stop was on 1 minute 20, so we're pretty much there. We'll see if we can squeeze into the 119s as well. We have some good news and some bad news. So we're almost halfway through the race. Ocean's back out. We've all done our pit stops pretty much. We lost about 3 seconds. Good news, Paragon Motorsport, Trent has gone out for them and he's still adjusting to the circuit. That's my political way of saying, Trent, you're really slow. So we're gaining about 2-3 a lap on him, which is good. The gap's down to 5 seconds. Unfortunately, the 10-second penalty we thought Paragon had was a typo by the stewards, and it was actually for the 222. So we're not going to jump ahead of them. The bad news is that Will Folks has gone back out for the number 10 kart, and it's triple stinting, and he's still very, very fast, which is very annoying. So hopefully his like neck dies or something, and we can catch him. Otherwise, I think 10 might be taking a double victory this round. So there's been more news as we cross the 3-hour mark. Turns out that the number 10 is splash and dashing. How do we know? Well, number 1, they did a really fast pit stop. Number 2, there's a rule in the BPEC regulations which says that a driver can't do more than 3 hours 36 minutes. If the current driver does a full stint, they'll break that rule, and then I don't know what the penalty is. So we are now waiting. We're going to make sure that that number 10 does not go even a second over 3 hours and 36 minutes. Otherwise we'll be like, Mr. BPEC, that's a penalty. But no, they have been very rapid, and it'd be very bad if that's how they're not in the race. We're like 99% certain they're going to come in, but we're not going to get worried about how fast the number 10 is because they're running very light on fuel at the moment. We're nearly 3.5 hours into the race, and Ocean has been doing bits. We've overtaken Paragon Motorsport. So up to 6th overall, we're now 3rd in class as well. We're only 6 seconds behind 5th in class, which is 2nd in Super, and we are gaining by a 10.2 a lap. So we're looking at top 5 overall. The number 10 hasn't pitted yet, and they've got about 12 minutes to do so. So I think they're probably going to go right to the end, and actually, as I say that, I look up, Henry Truna's getting ready to jump in, so yeah, they know what they're doing. This is the 58 who we're hunting down. Oh, it's gone out of shot, but you get the idea. And there is Ocean going through. So we have brought down the gap from about, it was over like 20 seconds, and it's now like 5 seconds, so he's done a really, really good job. And now I'm kitted up, which means it's time for me to bottle it. As Ocean continued to reel in the number 58 kart for 2nd place in Super Pro, I got my helmet on and prepared myself for my stints. Well, I am kitted up, and Ocean is 1.4 seconds behind DWS. Hey, pulled it off. Let's go, Ocean. We are up into P4, P6. Once pit stop's all done and dusted, so top 5 overall is looking doable, maybe even a top 4 overall. Could be big points today. Well, race over. I had to go out a few minutes early because Ocean's brakes failed, so we ended up losing a lap. So more drama, double header of issues, I guess. But yeah, it took me a bit too long to get up to pace, but once I did, yeah, it's decent, and we managed to overtake the 42 on the penultimate lap of the race, so it's like GYG all over again. Unfortunately though, only good enough for 8th, 4th in class. If it wasn't for that brake failure, we would have come in 2nd in class. So it's annoying, but it is what it is. It's good to know that we had fairly good pace despite the kart not being that quick. So I mean, the kart had the potential, but we just didn't deliver on it, rather than the kart itself being bad. So a lot to look back on and learn, but yeah, a decent weekend, and my neck somehow survived 2 double stints. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll be back as always in the next video. Till then, Assalamu alaikum.